Hi there, I care and you matter. I'm Shannon and welcome to my channel and welcome to Writers Wednesday. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how I am gearing up to start writing my very first adult fiction book. And I decided the very best place to start is by getting myself an education. And I actually had a book on my shelf. It's been there for years. And I loved it. In fact, I found a second copy that at a local thrift store for $2. I was like $1.99. I'm like, oh, I love this book so much. I want to get the second copy. And so I did. And the book is called Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. And I'm going to leave a link to all the books I'm going to share in this video today. But what I love about this book is it says 10 things nobody told you about being creative. And essentially it is what it says. This book is nothing more than a manifesto or giving you creative license to steal from other artists. And the whole premise is there's nothing new under the sun, but there are new takes on everything, new perspectives. And that's what each of us bring to the table is our unique perspective. And so this book encourages you to steal, find things that you like, but then challenges you to make it better. So I thought that one of the very first things I can do to become a good, hopefully well-loved author or writer of adult fiction is to read some adult fiction and then figure out what do I like and what do I dislike about it. But I wanted to go beyond just having fuzzy ideas of what I liked and what I didn't like. So I'm very organized, and you know me, I love my stationery. So I got me not just a book, but I got me another notebook and one of my favorite pens. I'm going to leave those links below too. And so I was going to get very methodical about this. And while I love to read just to read, I wanted to really take a organized and very intentional approach to this. So, my husband and I read every night, come hell or high water, for 15 minutes in the evening. We have side-by-side recliners in our living room and a little coffee table between our recliners, and then a little cart behind that where we keep our books and some pens and such. And we can read, throughout the day whenever we have pockets of time, but no matter how hard our day is or how busy or crazy it is, we know we always have that 15 minutes. So, I am using my 15 minutes to read a book, and then I do something very different in my little notebook with my pen after that. But before we get into that, let me show you the book I'm reading. And I don't know how to pronounce the gentleman's name. Matt Haig, I think it is. He's an English author, and this is called The Midnight Library. It has rave reviews on Amazon. Again, link in the description below. It is a New York Times #1 bestseller, and it was a Good Morning America book club book pick. And so I'm thinking, can't go wrong with this, because I also have read this gentleman's nonfiction books. He has a book called The Comfort Book, which I also love. I read that when I'm depressed or struggling. I'll leave a link to that book as well. But I've read his nonfiction, and I've never read his fiction book. So I found this at my local thrift store. And I thought, you know what? I can't go wrong with this, right? Because even if you don't like something, I think you can learn from it. So I got this, and I'm about 3 or 4 chapters into it, and I decided, ooh, okay, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but there are some things I don't love about this book, and there are some things I really, really like and really would like to emulate. I'm going to steal it like an artist and use the information, use what I don't like in order to not do or to avoid or do the opposite in the book that I will write. So how do I keep track of that? What do I do with that information so that when I do actually sit down to write, I know what to do and what to avoid? Ah, that's where my notebook comes in. So I read for my 15 minutes, and then I close the book, and then I grab my notebook, which is sitting right next to on the coffee table when we're reading. And long story short, I write things, I just jot a couple words or a phrase or a sentence down of things I like and things I don't like. The things that I like get a star next to them. The things that I don't like get a minus sign with a circle around it. In fact, you can see that here. There's far more things that I like in the last couple chapters than I don't like. Excuse me. So, for example, let's give some praise. Let's say the good things about this book. And you could totally disagree with me. Some people, this is all personal preference, but obviously I want to write in the way that I would like to read. And so this is just my personal take. You might disagree, but we to each his own. But I really love the varied sentence structure and length. In other words, I have not run across a single semicolon in this book. I do not like long run-on sentences. No, complete the thought and get to the next one. And that probably comes from my background as an elementary school teacher. But that's just, I got a problem with that. I don't enjoy reading books like that. So this author does a great job of varying that. There'll be a long sentence, then a couple short ones, and so on and so forth. Likewise, he varies the length of the chapter. I don't think I've read a single chapter in this book that's more than 4 or 5 pages long. I love that. Because as someone who only reads for a minimum of 15 minutes a day, I can read a couple chapters in that time, and that feels good. It also means that if I can steal away 5 to 10 minutes earlier on in the day, I can do that and read a whole chapter. Love that. Next, my favorite thing about this book is it starts with a short peek into the protagonist, the main character's past from the get-go. And that was only like a 2-page scene. But I love that because in the next chapter, it says 19 years later. So before you jump into the book and really get a well-rounded view of this protagonist's self, their personality, and what they're struggling with, you have a little insight, a little peek into their past, bird's eye view perspective, and I love that. All right, now let's get into the thing I really hate about this book that almost made me put it down after chapter 5, and I was almost ready to call it a day. I loathe the main character. Let's hope there's a huge character arc where this character really changes and there's a huge transformation because this lady... Now, don't get me wrong. I try to be kind to everybody. I try to be kind to everybody in my life. It doesn't cost you anything, and I really believe that what you put out there comes back. I would not spend time with this person in real life. I find her annoying. Her name is Nora. I find her annoying. She has no motivation. She's depressing. She has absolutely no drive. And I would give that girl a quick, swift kick of the pants. I'm like, good Lord, if she was my child, I'd have a few choice words for her. Because, I hate her. I loathe her. And so I loathe her enough to not want to read the book. However, I'm going to push myself to finish it because, again, I believe that we can gain things from things that aren't good or that we don't like. And obviously, thousands, perhaps even millions of people love this book. So surely there's something there. Maybe something's going to happen. Maybe it'll just be the way he tells the story. Maybe it's going to be the premise or the fantasy element of the story that's going to be interesting. And maybe not the character at all. I don't know. I just don't see any element of myself that I can really connect to in this character. So I'm struggling with that a bit. But, I'm committed to see it through because there have been books that I just put down because my time is valuable. And if I was reading for enjoyment and I wasn't enjoying the book, why would I punish myself? Oh, my God. Some people enjoy puzzles. I hate it. I hate puzzles. Why would I pay someone to create a mess to just put a mess back together and create order? I'd rather create order in my life. Anyway, that personal preference. Hey, no judgment if you love puzzles, but yeah, that's just a personal pet peeve of mine. So yeah, I was really struggling. Do I put this book down? Do I stick with it? Well, I've decided to stick with it, but I'm really being conscientious about making sure I get something good out of it. It is this book, even the things I don't like about this book, I'm using as a tool to help inform me when I sit down to write in order to hopefully make my writing better. Because if you followed this channel for any length of time, let me grab it. Last year, I published a middle grade fiction book. And it was going to be a series. And that's why you see the number 1 up here. But I've decided to change gears and write an adult fiction book now. And I'm kind of I really enjoyed this process, and I kind of enjoyed it because it was short. And I enjoyed it because I thought it was a great first stab at using the 3-act story structure. But I'm looking at this as this book was my training wheels. And I'm ready to take the training wheels off and try writing an adult fiction book. But before I do that, I really want to read and analyze some existing really good, or supposedly really good, adult fiction books. So, long story short, let's sum all this up for you. If you are an aspiring writer, I really recommend you try this out. If you're reading a book, whether you like it or you don't like it, make notes. Take stock of what is working for you as a reader, what isn't working, what makes you think, oh, I want to put this down and I want to find another book. Because that is not wasted time. That brings clarity, and it brings knowledge, and it can inform and ultimately make your writing better. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I will catch you in another video. Every Sunday, I release a Stationery Sunday video where I go over or talk about office supplies and everything stationery, everything paper. And every Wednesday, I release a Writer Wednesday video. So, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.